to say no, right? Like, you trade away James Harden, you trade away Zoo. Those were two core pieces of what they were trying to do um, in Los Angeles, and now you look at it as a retooling. They were able to go get some young guys to come back. They were able to go out and get some really good draft pieces, some really good draft picks that they didn't have before. So this to me obviously looks like a play for the future. They have an opportunity to go out and get some really good blue chip young talent out in the draft with those protected picks, and they got a great opportunity to start fresh or continue to build around Kawhi Leonard, who has another year on his deal, and before he reaches free agency, they'll give it one more opportunity with these young guys. So I think it was a positive for the Clippers. It looks like they are waving the white flag, but I do still feel like they have enough pieces to compete, especially when you still got Kawhi Leonard who's healthy. It looks like they're still going to compete, but it also looks like this is a move for the future as well. So, I thought they did a great job. I didn't want to see Zoo go, especially with him having a newborn child who's, basically 3 years old at this point, and to be traded. This business can be harsh on a personal level, but, that's the nature of the beast. That's how this thing goes. But I think the Clippers did tool up for the future, and I think it'll do them some good.
Yeah, I agree. I think this was something, to gain some youth back, change it up a little. You know what? I don't know if this is necessarily a rebuild, for the Clippers, in my opinion. And I could be wrong. It's more of a retool. They put some youth around Kawhi. Benedict Mathurin, he can play ball. I think he's filling a role in that wing position that could actually flourish next to Kawhi. Obviously, they made a move for Darius Garland, so they definitely put some talented youth around him, gained some assets at the same time. So I think this is definitely a retool, and I'm excited to see what it looks like moving forward. So I'm not mad at this move from the Clippers.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because Kawhi is the last tree standing. Shout out Michelle for that line. So then you're saying it's good. It's good.
No, so Kawhi got plenty of trees.
I just love it so much. So he's not. So we don't think he's getting moved. Like we're not looking to next season. We're like, he will actually end up being moved as well. We think that this is part of rebuilding around him or retooling around him.
I mean, and we could be wrong. It could. That he's the last standing piece, obviously. So that could be an all-season move that is made. And, it would make sense as well because, if you're now going this young and you're getting assets back, you may move on from your older aging superstar. So that could make the summer really exciting if that was the case. And I know there's some teams that will be lined up to send offers that way. So I got a few in mind.
And also, let's not forget how we got here with Kawhi Leonard. It got to make sense for him to want to go somewhere, for him to be moved, right? And so if they don't put the pieces around that makes sense for him to compete for a championship that he feels like, they're absolutely going to move around. Remember, he wasn't coming to the Clippers until they decided, hey, look, I'm coming, but y'all got to go get Paul George. Y'all got to put some pieces around for this to make sense. Everything clears out. You go out and get James Harden. You go out and get different pieces. I don't see this any different. If they don't go out and they go get some guys that he can look around and realistically say, at this point in my career, this gives me an opportunity to compete for a championship or put us in that conversation, and it don't make sense, we might have to start looking at other options. So I think this is going to have to make sense for the Clippers and for Kawhi Leonard as well, for him to stay past this next season as well.
My goodness, if we go into the summer and it's Giannis, Kawhi, like these are the guys that are on the move.
Crazy summer.
It never ends. All right, math time. So one of the first-round picks going to the Clippers is the Pacers' 26th first. That is a 1 through 4 protected and 10 through 30 protected. Now, if your brain already shut up, join me. But the sweet spot for the Clippers is actually picks 5 through 9. Is there a world in which I guess there is, Lou. Like, it could backfire against the Pacers. It's just part of this is luck, right?
Yeah, it could, but right now, I think, listen, if healthy, I think Indiana gets better by bringing in Zubac, So a lot of this stuff is still pending. We're going to see how it all plays out. I think both teams took a gamble, and I think it's going to work for both parts. You add Zubac to an Eastern Conference that doesn't have a lot of dominant big guys, that size is a luxury. Size is something that's needed, and you add somebody like him to the mix when a Holly can get healthy. You got Siakam, who's having an all-star year, as you can see. You know, you have him and you have some other different pieces, Nemhard as well. They got better. They got better. But this is a move for next season. Everybody's looking for the future. The Clippers, they got younger. They feel like they're getting better. You know, we haven't even mentioned Garland in this conversation.
Right.
He's also in uniform over there with the Clippers. So both teams went out and did and looked into the things that they needed to get better at, and I think it works for both sides.
I find the Pacers thing interesting because we knew the minute Halliburton got hurt that this was just sort of going to be a wash a bit, and it has been. Obviously, they're at the bottom. Is it not crazy to think that when we start this bad boy up again next October, are we looking at a top 4 team in the East when everybody's back and healthy?
I think so, and especially with this move for Zoo, very serviceable. Great rebounder, great rim protector, can finish around the basket with both hands. I think they got a lot better. So, and adding him to the additions you already have with Siakam, Nemhard, and Hallie coming back, they're definitely going to be a really, really good team. So, I like this move from both. Like I said, and Lou said, I like this move from both sides. I think both sides got better. I think they benefited long term. So, I think it's a win-win for both.
Boogie, the way the Hornets are your team, the Pacers were Lou's team last season. So I want to make sure, like, Lou, I want to check in with you. Like, how are we feeling? Okay, yeah.
I feel good. And I've long apologized for my criticisms and my lack of knowledge from the Indiana Pacers. I said I wasn't watching Indiana basketball, and they went on to go to the NBA Finals in the same season.
They really did.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I have no problem with saying that I was wrong. I'm a fan. Obviously, this is a different basketball team. They have a different personality and swag when Holly is in uniform. I can't really give them top 4 yet because everything is still pending. I still like where Detroit ain't going nowhere. Boston ain't going anywhere. New York still is in play to make some major moves. The Sixers are trending up. Toronto is trending up. It's a lot of teams that addressed a lot of their different needs that they needed and got better during this free agency going into next year. That, you know, I don't think Indiana just walks into a 4th spot. I think it's going to be a fight. I think the East got stronger as a whole after this deadline.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference. I'm kind of happy they made as many moves as they did. Speaking of, there were I thought 23, 24 total trades, I want to say, somewhere in that range, Boogie. So how do you feel? Was it exciting enough for you? Was it a little bit less than what you expected? How are you giving the grade-wise?
It was a decent trade deadline. I think we were looking for, you know, bigger fireworks as far as the bigger name superstars in the league. But it was rather decent. You know, it was a few teams that, you know, I thought would have made moves that didn't. You know, I thought the Warriors would have been a lot more active as far as the deadline. I mean, they did make a decent move with KP, but I thought they would have been a lot more active. The Knicks surprised me as well. Houston surprised me.
Knicks are my favorite.
So, you know, I am surprised that more so some teams didn't make a move, but, you know, like I said, it was a rather...
Okay, we'll get to that. I'm going to, because now I'm going to go down the list of a couple things here, Lou. Real quick, which trade did you love the most?
I gotta say Boston. I gotta say Boston going out and getting Vooch. I think that puts them in a really good position come this postseason. And I don't think that the trade deadline was exciting. I thought it was efficient. We didn't get the fireworks we wanted, but a lot of teams addressed the needs that they needed, the things that they needed for them to get better, and I think they did. I'm sitting here looking. I feel like Boston got better. I feel the Wizards got better. Utah got better. The Hawks got better. Charlotte got better. Add Mike Conley. Add Kobe White. Let's see what Cleveland do with James Harden. A lot of different teams addressed their needs, and I feel like they got better. So we didn't get the fireworks, but I think everybody did an efficient job in trying to make their basketball teams better. So I think that's going to make for a great second half of the season.
I feel like we got little black cats, like little sparklers, little something, little excitement. Wait, who do you think won?
It was more small, subtle moves that impressed me the most. Minnesota with the deal for, I might butcher his name, but Ayo, and one that Lou mentioned in Charlotte with the move for Mike Conley.
Big one, yeah.
I guess I'm the new, Charlotte Hornets fan. I'll take it, whatever. Yep. But that Mike Conley move for LaMelo Ball, I think that's probably the most impressive move of the deadline, and just the influence and the way I know Mike Conley will go in that organization and put his arm around that young kid, and the way he'll be able to groom him into being a professional player in this league and a leader of that team, I'm excited for him. So I'm looking forward to how that works out. And I'm looking forward to see, how it carries over into the next season and see what this Charlotte Hornets team can do.
I submit Jose Alvarado getting to play in the Garden. I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
That was my favorite.
That was a really nice
That was
yep.
my own personal favorite. Why were you shaking your head, by the way, Lou?
I'm distracted. I didn't close my door. My dogs are downstairs, and they decide they want to play while I'm working.
Yay,
So
let
I'm
'em
trying to tell them
play.
to get away right now. So
Well, put him in your lap so we could see him. That will be fine with that. Biggest
he's
loser.
too big. Well, he jumped
Yeah,
up
I see
there.
ears.
So
I see
you can see a
ears.
little ears. You can see a little bit.
Dogs make everything better. You guys know this. Okay, while he gets that doggy in his lap, Boogie, who's the biggest loser?
Biggest loser of the deadline?
If you think there was one.
This big old guy, see, I can't. Here we go.
Why can't
Yeah,
you
that ain't
pick
no
up
lap
your
dog, Lou.
That's a lap dog.
Yeah,
That's a
he's a lap
baby.
dog. I'm a big man.
Oh, he's a lap dog. Don't tell him otherwise. Go. Sorry.
Biggest loser of the deadline for me.
And it could be like somebody who didn't do something that maybe we thought they would.
I don't know. I wouldn't really. I would probably say a Miami. Who
Oh,
didn't
'cause-
make
okay.
a move at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably say a Miami. I would expected them to, try to make a move as well.
Yeah, they didn't do anything,
They
did
didn't
they?
do anything. Nothing.
Kinda
So
crazy.
Miami.
All right, Miami loss. What do you think, Lou?
I would have to say Milwaukee. I'm still uncertain about their future. I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I would say Milwaukee, and until we get to the off season and we see what they make of it.
The Sixers, who we have mentioned, are trending upwards. Embiid had said before the deadline, and he was pretty vocal about it, the fact that the team needs to make, a big move. We really have a chance to contend this year. That is his sentiment. And then all they really did was ship McCain off to save on taxes. That is the unsexiest sentence ever said out loud. So now, Boogie, and you are a big proponent of be careful about the Sixers team moving forward. Are they going to regret this, not having done something bigger?
I think they will regret it, especially with the up and down season they've had as far as health. So I think they need as much talent, as many bodies as they can, keep on that squad. I think that's a move that, could have been, made later on. And especially with a talent like that. He had an incredible rookie year. He ran into some injury early. But, the talent is there. And I think he could have helped at some point, especially if they're speaking about having a legit finals run. So I could see them looking back kind of regretting that move, depending on how this playoffs go. But I know who is excited, and that's the OKC Thunder. So
yeah, like almost too
the rich
much,
get richer,
quite frankly. Yeah, I'm wondering too. I wonder if Philly going to regret this.
I don't know what did he want to be addressed. You have your backcourt of the future. Obviously, Paul George is dealing with what he's dealing with, but he's coming back at the end of the season. It's going to be about 10 to 12 games left when he's back in uniform, and he was playing well. Joel himself was playing well. What else is there to address? I don't know what moves that he expected them or wanted them to make. I think they're playing good basketball as they are positioned. So I don't know what he wanted to add to that group.
I wonder too when you say that, because people are like, "Oh, why didn't the Spurs do this? Why didn't this, and that happen?" I do think that there's this weird feeling out there, and correct me if I'm wrong. Some people feel like you need to make a trade just to make a trade, like feel like you did something, and
Yeah,
I don't know. I think sometimes you don't need to do something, but I don't know if Embiid feels
I
that
think
way.
that's for the good teams. I
Yeah,
mean, obviously a team like Detroit, but
Yeah, don't touch it.
like we feel good where we are, and obviously the Philadelphia 76ers, they feel good where they are. I'm just curious to know what was it that he wanted to be added? What issues did they have that he wanted to be addressed?
And that is the question that we
I'm
don't.
sure it wasn't the subtraction of McCain.
I know. I was happy for McCain.
Well, you know what? Oubre
that's
started
what
playing
I'm
better.
wondering what's gonna
Oubre started
happen.
playing better. They were log jammed at the guard position. Edgecombe is playing a lot of valuable minutes, upwards of 30 plus. Maxey was playing upwards of 30 plus. Again, PG was playing well. What were you gonna do? I'm just curious to know what was the idea moving forward. I like the way that the Sixers are playing, and I like the way they're going about business. So
With PG out 25 games, they could use him right now.
that's a fact.
And that's fair.
But he's coming back. So I don't know.
Hey, 25 games without him, that you could drop from 6 to being a player. I mean, you never know.
That's a slot.
Yeah.
That's a slot.
So
Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about that.
Here's the here's now what we get to look forward to, because there are a lot of teams, and we were running them down in the meeting this morning of how many folks are now in the lottery, how they need to sort of situate themselves moving forward, which basically means not winning games, and what that's going to look like, especially for some of these teams who brought in some big names at the trade deadline for the future, and now we'll probably sit a lot of them. Are we about to sit through some of the worst tanking we've seen in quite some time?
I would believe so. Like I said, it seems to be a new trend in the league to where, we tank out loud. Back in my day, they tried to be somewhat discreet about it. At least they would lie to your face about it. Now it's, they call it deactivation.
That's rough. Or Markkanen last night doesn't play the entire second half. Nothing wrong.
So,
just doesn't play.
I mean, I guess this is the new trend in the league. It's new for me. I'm sure it's new for the fans, and we'll see what the reactions are like.
How do we feel about it? Because look, if you're a fan of the teams,
I feel differently. Listen,
you do. Okay.
All of the teams that are going to tank, we weren't watching anyway. As far as
What is wrong with
as far as the East is concerned, the team that's in 10th place is Charlotte. You can't tell me the run that they're on. They're trying to tank,
They're
right? So from 1 to 10 in the East, everybody is still fighting.
Okay.
Everybody has something at stake still in the East. In the Western Conference, Portland is in a 10 spot. The Clippers is in a 9 spot. Like.
Oh, what that looks like.
We got questions to be answered there,
Yeah.
but 1 through 8, those teams are still fighting. So look, I still feel like these on both coasts it's going to be competitive on both sides, and the teams that are going to tank, we weren't watching anyway. It is what it is.
That's fine.
So we're looking at a 16 team still try, and a 14 team the rest of the way. Is that the math? By the way,
Half and half.
I think we go back to my original theory of getting rid of some teams. But nobody wants to hear me whenever I say that out loud.
Everybody won't make it, B.
No, they won't. You know what, though? I'll say this. If you are a fan of, like, the Jazz and the Wizards, I think you feel pretty positive about how things played out, and you just know that patience is key, because the future looks relatively brighter than it did 2 days ago.
And you know what?
I'm sure the
Utah,
Wizards
make it 11 teams in the West. Utah, because even though they got a lot of young talent, those guys need these valuable minutes to build and grow. So
But they also they can't win too much.
Well, you can't have both. Either you can't win too much, or you got to develop these young guys. And the only way to develop them, you got to put them on the floor. So
That top 8 is the pick for Utah, and then it goes back to OKC. And I think I speak for everyone. We say, "Don't you dare, Utah."
Now that's a gray area.
Don't you do this?
We're
We're taking a quick break. When we come back, a little fast break action.